Laura Berger, lawyer and public safety director with the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, is here with us tonight. Laura, can you walk us through any issues you saw with the federal government invoking the act, or in your view, was this all justified?
The Emergencies Act requires a threat to national security or a threat to the safety of Canadians that cannot be dealt with under any existing laws in Canada. And so in our view, the existing framework of laws that we have in this country were sufficient and could and should have been used in order to address the situation in Ottawa.
Well, that leads me to my next question. What could have been done instead?
Well, I think it's really interesting to note that very tense situations related to the trucker convoy were diffused without the use of the Emergencies Act. So we heard yesterday from the lawyer for the province of Alberta indicating that the blockade at Coutts, Alberta, the situation at the border there, was in fact diffused before the federal government invoked the Emergencies Act. So police at all times under normal law do have the ability to deal with breaches of the peace, to deal with blockades that are obstructing infrastructure, and to try and both protect public safety and facilitate the right to freedom of expression and freedom of peaceful assembly. So in our view, there was an existing suite of laws that police typically use to deal with difficult situations. And that should be the first line of defense when dealing with difficult situations like the one we saw in February.
Yeah, that's interesting, Laura. I wonder now if there will be a shift in blame. Did Ottawa police do enough with the powers that they have?
Absolutely, and I think that is a key question. The situation in Ottawa lasted for 3 weeks, and the Ottawa police certainly, I think, were perceived as taking a light touch or a generous approach to the protesters. And I think it's really worth asking how we live with and how we respond to protests that may be disruptive. And this is where I think all Canadians should be paying attention, because even if you were not involved and don't have an opinion on the trucker convoy, I think we all have something that we care very much about that might lead us to protest in the streets. It could be the climate emergency, it could be abortion rights, it could be the safety of a community we care about or belong to. These are all reasons why people can and do try to make their voices heard through protest. And protest is often disruptive. It often has economic consequences. Think about a labor strike when folks picket a workplace. That deliberately has economic consequences. So how do we facilitate the right to assemble and to make our voices heard in a democracy while still maintaining public order and public safety? Those are, I think, key questions that all of us should care very much about.
That's Laura Berger from the Canadian Civil Liberties Association. Thank you for your insight, Laura.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.